Hey everybody. Hey John. Hey BX Ray. Beth, is that you messing with me? How's everybody doing today? Good, good. I started a couple minutes early. Just wanted to get everybody in here. Make sure you know if you want to chat, you want to make requests, click the button over here to subscribe, wherever it is over here, I guess. And that's all the requirement is. Like, you just got to be a subscriber. Once you do that, you might as well hit the bell with the doodads to get the notifications. Turn on all notifications so you get notified when I go live first thing in the morning tomorrow and talk about what's moving for the day. I do that every market day, or I try to anyway. Looks like next Monday I got to go to court. Got a subpoena, so I'll try to get the live stream in, but no guarantees. I got to be there to, I guess, be a witness, state's witness. We'll see. Anyway, glad to have everybody. So, on tap tonight, we've got the FOMC meeting ongoing. Started today, wraps up tomorrow at 2 p.m. We'll see what Jerome Powell has to say. And there's a link that I'm going to share for everybody here in a few. But, so we have that wrapping up. We have economic news. We got ADP, jobs, whatever, non-farm jobs, openings. We'll go through all the stuff. Today, market kind of the narrative, the mainstream media narrative was that Janet Yellen's letter to Congress that we may default on our debt earlier than anticipated kind of freaked everybody out a little bit. I don't know. Was that really, or was it just a failed breakout higher yesterday? And today we have a failed breakout lower that we can look at on the charts when we get there. Now, we're going to have volatility. Please be prepared for volatility tomorrow. There is news coming. There's economic news coming. Be prepared for that volatility. Now, 75% of S&P 500 companies are done with earnings by the end of the week. So, as far as earnings goes, we're coming off the earnings volatility. That still means we have 25% of the companies left to report earnings, though, including Apple coming up this week. So that can be a market mover. That is the biggest company in the land, the biggest by market cap. So, and then, of course, number 3, we're going to take your requests, and it is after 5 o'clock. Looks like my watch says it's 5:00, some weird number. There it goes, 5:00 now. All right, didn't update properly, I guess. That was weird. It had like a curly Q for the last O. So it is 5 o'clock, and let's get started. All right. Now, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here, informational, educational, and fun, is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument or anything else. Like, don't buy or sell anything. Now, if you desire personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor that has a fiduciary duty to give you advice based on your situation. If you're not in the U.S., I don't know how that works, but in the U.S., they are now, if you have an actual registered, certified financial advisor, they have to take your personal financial situation in consideration when they give you advice. That didn't used to be the case. So that's a new thing, and just in the past couple of years. Crazy, right? Like, you would think that was a thing, that was like, at least a moral thing, right? But no, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. So they had to pass a law that said that certified financial advisors have to take into mind your your situation before giving you advice. That's just like a no-brainer, but I'll tell you right now, nobody is looking out for your money but you. Nobody cares more about your money than you. And if you don't care about your money, there's nobody else going to care about your money. The government certainly doesn't care about your money unless it's making your money their money. Anyway, let's jump into it, shall we? So, remember, I may be full of crap. Everything I say here may be full of malarkey. So, yeah, we'll look at QQQ. We'll look at everything kind of in the market here. Just a broad brush. Let's look at the events coming up, though. Let's kind of refresh this a little bit. Make sure we got the up-to-date numbers and everything. So, yesterday, May 1st. Today, May 2nd. We had JOLTS jobs coming out at 10 and kind of tanking the markets a little bit. Factory orders, all that jazz. Saw jolts coming in light, factory orders coming in light. And then tomorrow, full day of stuff. We got that ADP non-farm employment change. We got that ISM manufacturing. We got the final services PMI. We got crude oil inventories at 10:30. We got the FOMC statement at 2 o'clock. The Fed funds rate announcement at 2 o'clock. And Jerome Powell cannot resist but to speak at 2:30. Whew. Whole bunch of stuff. And then on Thursday, we're going to crank out some unemployment claims, little non-farm productivity, labor costs, trade balance, and the rest of the day kind of benign. A little natural gas coming out at 10:30. And then Friday, we have average hourly earnings, non-farm payrolls, and unemployment rate. And then Fed member Cook speaking, and consumer credit, and FOMC financial stability report, tentatively on Friday. So lots of junk, lots of news coming out on Friday. Lots of news coming out tomorrow. Lots of news coming out Thursday. Things are going to move. Things are going to be volatile. If you want this, go to forexfactory.com, click on the calendar button, and you can have this fancy dancy little calendar here. So I'll move myself out of the way here so we can actually see the numbers. All right. So that's what's coming up the rest of the week as far as economic news. And, these other things, these worldwide news items that have red flags on them, they can move the market. They can. So just keep it in mind. Doesn't just have to be U.S. news. We can get some ECB numbers coming out, and it can move the market. Yeah. All right. Moving on. So S&P 500 came all the way down to the bottom of the box and held barely. But on the ES, we rejected and came right back up, closing right at the bottom of that box. Like, that was the consolidation range we basically had the last 2 weeks. Kind of closing right at the bottom of that range, right on the tail from 2 days back, Friday. Tried to break out higher yesterday, rejected. Tried to break out lower today, rejected. That kind of sets up a bias for us to go up. Kind of clears the deck, a lot more. We cleared way more stuff to the downside. Cleared the little stop outs to the top, and then cleared out the deck to the bottom. Kind of sets the stage for any kind of big move. So there may be a big move. Volatility may spike. Volatility doesn't have to spike. Now, if we go down, VIX is probably going to pop. If we go up, VIX is probably going to drop. Just keep it in mind that has to do with the term structure of VIX and the ratio puts to calls. So, all right. I did get into a put on SVXY because it sure does look like it can do one of these 12% retrace things. And my other chart had it updated right up off the top, off the high we made yesterday. About a 12% retrace would take us right down into that zone right there around 62. About a 12% retrace. Now, why 12%, JT? Well, look at this. All the way back through here. Ever since the 2020 meltdown, SVXY has done about 12% retraces. 12 is a light one. 15, 16, 17. All these retraces, all these little volatility spikes, all result in 12 to even 22% drops in SVXY. The smallest ones were like 12%. We get these little hiccups, but the real ones, the real gnarly ones, are about 12% or bigger. So I drew this 12% on here. That would be 62. More ideally, we get all the way down to the roadmap line, which would be down around 60. Right down here. That would be beautiful. I bought a 66 put. Just right at where we bottomed out, looking for that spike down, just in case it happens. Just in case, just to cover my longs. So, just throwing that out there. Now, circling on back to the other things. So, ES, if you're unfamiliar, this is the S&P 500's futures. These are closed right now from 5 to 6 on Eastern time, but it will reopen at 6 and keep on trading all night. That's why I watch them. If you're like, well, how do I trade that? It's like SPX, SPY, anything S&P 500 related. SPY, you knock a decimal point off, and basically you got about the price of SPY. So that's where we were with SPY. QQQ today, just a small little retrace. Not huge. We didn't come all the way back to the bottom of the box. We hung in here, finding support right in with all of these kind of candle bodies right in there. See how that kind of lines up with all sorts of candle bodies, all those doji bodies right across there? Nice level of support. That also indicates to me potentially going higher. Probably going to shoot for the top of the box around 13,800. Been saying that level for a long time. And the level on ES on S&P 500, probably 4,300, where we topped out back in August. That just happens to be where we also topped out back in August on NQ. And then Russell, looking like the laggard here, tried to break out lower, couldn't get the continuation lower, closed right back at the bottom of the box. This is the box we've had we built this box back here in March, mid-March with these first few candles, and we just kind of been holding on. We tried to break out once, tried to break out twice, right back to the bottom, tried to break out again, and right back to the bottom. Looking a little bearish, may extend down to the 1670 level. If you're not familiar on Russell, RTY, that's the IWM. And for NQ, if you're unfamiliar on that one, that's QQQ. You divide by 41 to get the price. Like take that 13,800, divide by 41, and you roughly get your QQQ price. All right. Sorry, you got to do math. Oil came right down to the target. Look at that baby. Put that target on there last week, I think it was, and we got there. Holding support into the close. It's going to take a move back up through 76 to get me long. Otherwise, if we start breaking down below about 68.50, probably going to get that extension I was talking about down to 59. So we're in a little gray zone, orange zone right in here where we can reverse. If we get below that, probably coming down here to that 59 area. Hey, Kimberly's here. How's my lovely bride? Anyway, that's oil. Gasoline. Whew. Pushing down lower. That's relief for the pumps, right? If we can get below these lows right here, we can get an extension. Extension prices were down here around $2. Is my target. If we can break below the lows, we start breaking below this little zone that forms right here. Get below that, we could head on down here to about $2. That's the wholesale price on gas. That is not with taxes and profits and all that junk. It's just the wholesale prices of gas. Gasoline, natural gas, still consolidating at the bottom, looking like a piece of garbage. Probably going to extend lower. That is not constructive for higher prices. Looks like it's going to extend down to probably about $1.50. Excuse me. Gold showing some strength today, but that is a 618 retrace. Be freaking careful right here. That is not a breakout. That is a potential B wave retrace for an extension lower. Please, please, please be careful. That was a 618 retrace. We can easily extend lower, and that could just be the first three-wave move. We could get a move up again, and then an extension. This could be in a correction for a little while. Just keep it in mind. Copper also kind of turning sideways, not really breaking out, not getting above the roadmap line, not showing any kind of constructive anything. Just be careful there too. This is not a reversal yet. Not a reversal yet. Lumber took a poo in the bed and went lower. Target on that one down here around 250. That's like 250 per whatever it is, 100 board feet or 1,000 board feet. Random lengths. So that prediction I made all the way back here in last summer, July, now potentially coming true as we went back up, retested the roadmap line a few times, and potentially going to break down now that we've gotten below that line. And just to put the other fib on there, see that would be like a 1618 extension. May find a little resistance at that 317, 320 area before it extends on down. All right. Any other questions on futures or anything like that? Crypto showing a little strength today. That may be an indication that we are risk on for tomorrow. This is a risk on, risk off asset. We are coming off the lows today. This can get continuation tomorrow and break out higher. That was a very nice retrace right there. Nice 786. You know, it kind of held the 618 with the bodies. Breaking out over 29.4 is an indication that we're going to get extension. That extension in the short term should take us right up into the top of the target there, right around 31,000. So breakout over 29.4, probably taking us to 31,000. Silver futures, yeah, SI1 exclamation point, right there. Probably headed to the promised land. 31 is the price I expect right now. It may get a retrace, may find resistance at 28, but 31 is where I'm kind of expecting that to head. We broke out through those prior highs, came back, retested it, pushing up, takes us up to 31. And that's probably going to be out to the summer. Yeah, probably out in June, July. And if we keep on rolling, we could see maybe up to 35 toward the end of the year. You know, maybe late Q3, Q4, something like that. Looking positive. Silver looks way more bullish than gold, I guess we'd say. Way more bullish. And DXY just keeps consolidating, churning. This was kind of getting slammed down. Now it's popping up again. Churning. We could see this drop out tomorrow on the FOMC. Just keep it in mind. So Bitcoin and Ethereum were up about 2% today. Very strong. Very nice. All right. I got a couple pre-requests that I had in Discord. Let me pick those up from people who couldn't be here. So IEP. Yeesh. That looks pretty bad. Well, there was the squeeze and the breakdown. That's classic. Classic. Let's see how we compare here. Whoa, wow. Yeah. Way more than even, yeah. That's why I don't mess with those. When they go, they really go. Where's the bottom? God only knows. Looks like it's down here. If we break out below that, we get an extension. What kind of extension? Let's just run a little. Oh, look at that. 1, 2, 3 pop. That's it's set up for an extension lower. That would be 25. Right there. Now we can find support in here and go higher, but that looks pretty horrible. And it wouldn't surprise me to come down here around 25. All right, next up, PANW. Oh, there's where I was typing over there. That's cool. All right. Alto Networks. This got earnings to, let's see, coming up end of the month. Few days from now. Right back to the roadmap line. Find support in this $173 area. We can bounce up. Resistance is right up there at those prior highs. It may retrace deeper. That stall out right there, not overly positive. It did fill the gap from right back here. See this gap right there. Left open, and it did have a little, it may retrace deeper all the way down into the low right there. May retrace like that before it can find support and go higher. That would be my expectation right now on PANW. All right. Let me grab the, roll back up to the chat. Meta. Yeah, baby, on the way. There's the target, 315. Now it may retrace this gap. A retrace becomes highly likely when we get those gaps. You can see what happened last time. Got that gap and retrace. Didn't quite make the gap fill, and then ran, kind of stalled a little bit and popped again. We may see it float along, get a retrace before the next run up, and then the next earnings out here gap up and actually hit that target. And then we'll have to see, where does that gap come from, or where's that, it comes from this gap all the way back here in February, like, whatever, 15 months ago, February, right there. And we're likely to come back up to it, and then we'll see what happens. We may go back and fill some gaps, and we may just break on out higher. No bias. No bias for me, except that we're probably going right up to fill that ginormous gap. I mean, that thing fell out of the bed. Went from 320 down to like 230, 100 whatever point down. Yeesh. They are underwriting $7 billion of corporate bonds. That came out yesterday. Just beware what they're doing. Borrowing money. But they are printing money, so they make lots of money. Lots of money. All right. Let's see. Amazon was next. And that one, while beating by $2.75 billion, that still wasn't enough to please the market. And they're just kind of consolidating on the roadmap line here. A little trouble breaking out. Found resistance. Got to get above those two highs now to go higher. I do expect it to kind of hold support in this area where it's held support for, done nothing for 2 months hardly. All right, Mora is in the same sort of situation right now. Now this has a little mini head and shoulders pattern that scares me because it can go down, back down to the $5 area. This little guy right here, I'll draw it in. See this right here? We've got like a head or shoulder, head, shoulder, right in there. Everybody see it? That little guy, just a little baby one. But if you draw in from the head down to the neck, and you take it down here, back down to 5, 4, 5, somewhere in there. Don't want to see that happen. So Bitcoin being strong, this thing breaking out, this can go the other way. It can be a failed head and shoulders, and we could see, instead of a drop, we could see a pop. Something like that, up into that $15 area, which I don't want it to stop at 15. I really want it to go up into the $20 area. So that's what we got on Mara. Beto is still on the path, like still sitting up here positive, looking for those higher targets. 20 at the most bearish and around 24 if we're bullish, kind of following the whole Bitcoin pattern. So just back near the roadmap line, could extend just a little bit lower down to 15, but probably gonna pop on the next Bitcoin pop. NVDA trying its darndest to break out, losing a little steam. This thing may retrace to the roadmap line. Be careful, please. I keep saying that over and over in all the updates. This does not have to reach up and touch that next level up here around 335. It can just roll over. Find some support and then build up strength to do it. Now, ultimately, I think it's going up here around 460 to 500, but that's going to be a while. It's probably going to come up here and retrace before it does that. All right, and I did Bitcoin, Ethereum. Ethereum has the potential to do that kind of retrace. That was a 5 up right there, which was a little overextended. And pull the fibs up and pull the other thing up. There's the label. We could see it retrace, and that retrace could be down to around 1480, 1490. It can bounce up and go higher. That can just be a subwave in here. Go up and test the area there. It has a head and shoulders pattern up to about 3100 on another chart that I have. Yeah, there it is. Giant head and shoulders. Takes us up to about 3100 from where we are. 31, 32. Otherwise, don't be surprised if we get the retrace there. All right. SQQQ is just opposite QQQ, and I don't know where the... there it goes. One more Q. Yeah, probably going lower. As NQ goes higher, which we're right down here. As this one goes higher, SQQQ will go lower. This is an ultra short, so if NQ takes a bath, this one will pop. We are going to probably get a retrace soon, but I expect this one to drop on down. Maybe 25, maybe 20. That would be the, you see another head and shoulders kind of pattern there. That one's a little sloppier, but we could see that extension down here. That's where that comes from. Right over here, right over here. All right. SPXL, I bought some of that right before the close because I kind of feel like we're going to see 4,300 on S&P 500 before too long. So I went out to June. I went up. Let me just pull it up here. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Maybe 5 seconds. Let's see. Let me find the. Come on, back down to the bottom. Oh my gosh, so many trades, so much content in Discord. Yeah, check this out right here. Make it bigger. Right there, June 16, 2023, $86 call, paid 45 cents. That covers this week and the rest of the month into June. So I bought 10 of them. That's $450. If we get a big pop, remember SPXL is a 3 times leverage, and we can see this break out and head up here. So I'm at 86. You say, JT, won't it take a move up through 86 to even make you money? No. If this ramps up really quickly, pops big tomorrow, I can make pretty good money pretty fast. So got that. I'm covered on the top, you know, covered for going up, covered on the pop, and covered on the drop with the SVXY. So, all right. Moving on. Back to it. All right. And tap. Molson Coors. They took the report I was just reading before I came on here. They've absorbed 22%. Like I had a 22% increase in demand week over week in their beers, while Bud had a 25% drop in almost all and across all Anheuser-Busch brands. So somebody heard my message that there's 400 brands to avoid if you're going to avoid Budweiser. So, Bud not showing as big a drop, but potentially going to go revisit the roadmap line there. And Tap, where is Tap going? I would be freaking careful. That's exponential, and it can run out of steam here. Yeah, that may be it. Like, I wouldn't expect a whole lot more than 67. The odds start getting really low that we're going to pop up to 73 before retracing. That kind of, let's see, let's double check that one. Oh yeah, a lot of confluence right here around 68, 67, 68. That's probably going to be the limit for Tap right there. I would expect that to retrace probably back to here where that prior high was before it can go up again. All right. Sorry if you were expecting more. Things don't just go up to the sky. GILD rejected at the resistance around 86, 87. Ugh. Lame. Right back down to the roadmap line. Gotta try again. Gotta try again. Well, back to the roadmap line. Looking for it to hold and turn up again. Break out above this high now. But this can extend lower. Be careful. If it gets below the roadmap line, it can extend down, back down to 75 even. Alrighty. BYD. And that one's rocking it. Rocking. Brought some good charts today instead of all this garbage that a lot of times we find. So 73 would be kind of like this. Topping in this zone is highly expected. And then we get a retrace probably back down here. Now it could just retrace to here and get an extension. If it just goes, then it's going to come back bigger whenever it does. All right. QQQ. So let's talk about it. Let's do something here. If we did NQ1 exclamation point divided by 41. The high is right there around 334. $335. So if we take and just go to the QQQ chart, now we draw a line off of this high. 334. See how it works. So you take that 13.8 price that I had. See if I got a calculator up. I do not. Calculator, grab it. There we go. 13,800 divide by 41. There's your target for QQQ. 336.5 roughly. Always be conservative with the target. That's why I have 335, 336. There you go. Hope you learned something today. Alrighty. XLK. Just reading the comments. Yeah, I would be careful. That's already hitting that level there. Already coming in that resistance. Above that can be positive. That's probably a big extended move. Yep, 1618. Already retraced to the breakout. That could be like, this is what I was talking about on the chart a second ago. Whatever it was. Too many tickers, too fast. So we came up, we hit the 1618. We retraced that prior breakout level where we had the high right here. And we came back and retested it. Now we're moving up, retesting the breakout again. We can do an extension, and it can extend to 157. That's exactly the pattern I was talking about a second ago. Where we come up, we find resistance at the 1618. We retrace, retest the prior breakout, and then we can get the extension. All right. Apple hit the weekly pivot. Don't have it on this chart, but it hit the weekly pivot. That can extend. And it can also retrace back to over here. So earnings are coming up on Thursday in the evening. So we've got tomorrow's volatility, and then Thursday afternoon we got Apple. If the market's biased up, this may rocket ship up. I think it's going to 200 eventually, but that doesn't mean it won't retrace first, because look at that monster move right up off that low. It's been pulling back, but nothing big, nothing like it did back here in February. And we're getting out to the 272. That's rough. That's looking like she's going to pull back. It would not surprise me to see Apple pull back. Of course, it wouldn't surprise me to see Apple at 200 either. But it's not known for just ripping with no pullbacks whatsoever forever. It'll consolidate and then get the final pop and then pull back. As we look back through here, it does get some wicked pullbacks, although it does go on some crazy tears. We could see this thing rocket ship right up to 200. 200 is that 1272 from this whole big pullback it did from 2021 into 2022, almost 2023, and then that extension possibly out to 219 if we got over 199, but 199 is the target. I mean, not even 200 actually. It'll come up shy of 200, I bet. Everybody will be expecting 200 and it'll come up and miss it. That fib is sitting just below it, so. All right. Oop, rolled through too fast. FCX, well, copper's crap, so FCX is crap. Probably going down here to this target still. Should not have that line on there. There was the target. I draw these little circles. Probably going to go hit that. And Baidu looks like garbage coming down. Probably going to hit that same kind of target right down here. If it starts breaking down, it may go down here. If it breaks down from there, then it's got to go way on down to the lower low. Not even on this chart. Right there. AMD. Did I cover this already? I can't remember. They just did earnings. Just had earnings down at 84. Beat on the top, beat on the bottom. Wow. Somebody guessed really close. 5 billion. Like, the consensus estimate was within $48 million. I mean, that was a pretty dang close guess. Pretty dang close. Retracing back to the roadmap line. It just missed it before, so it looks like it's coming back again. Bummer. I was hoping for the breakout. Back to the roadmap line. Since we missed it, we're probably going to go touch it fully. Probably get a lower low than we had right back here. Looks like it may open up there in the morning. We'll see what happens. Bummer. UNG looks like garbage. Going lower. Where's the downside target? I don't know. Down lower. $6, $5.70, $5. Probably going lower. Probably headed toward a reverse split. All right. And BAC. All right. Come on. BA, not BAA, BAC. AC. AC. There we go. Three wave up. That's probably going to get continuation lower. Breaking down below 27. Takes us down to 25.20. Right there. It can find support here and break out, but it's got to break out above this level. And it can run up to here and find resistance. Kind of in that zone where that roadmap line will come over to. If you want to know about the roadmap line, there's other videos on YouTube. And there's a link in the description if you want to just buy the code and whatever. It's like $5 for 3 months. You get a watch list every week. But we'd go up and test the roadmap line or drop down to extension. That's what we got right now. Otherwise, stay sideways. Right there. That's the three options, and there's the levels I would be watching. Coin got really stupid, and I don't know where the chat just went. Come on. whatever. Okay. Screen refreshed. Made a lower low. That can reverse. Yeah. Just sideways. I mean, I drew a giant freaking arrow over here. And it just keeps going sideways. So, giant freaking arrow. Support right there would be beautiful. 49. Just lower than that prior low. Holding there. Breaking back above 59, 75, $60. Somewhere right here is probably an initial aggressive type entry that we would trade back into these highs right here. And above those highs, we could go retest these highs. And above those highs, we could actually get to the target, which comes from this high right over here. Above that, we could get some extensions, but not like we, with all the crap it's got built up right now. Otherwise, we could break down and go lower, and make a lower low. Crocs. Retracing to the roadmap line. Despite having killer earnings, beating on the top and the bottom. All right, Marvel. Looks like it's going lower. How much lower? Roughly. I mean, the next attempt, it makes it going lower here. If it breaks below these lows right here, if it breaks below that, watch out, baby. Probably going down here to right around 30. And that's all I gotta say about that one. PGR. Ouch. Classic retrace. Look at that. Almost the same size. Huh. Yeah, I'd expect that to hold in this area and turn positive. The next time it breaks above here, I don't even have to draw crazy stuff. Like, look at that. If it does what it did before, it could go up to 168, and that could be out to November. Did that same retrace. Did it a little more aggressively this time, but tends to do that. Nice aggressive retraces. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me to see that ripping off. I would wait till it's above 137. Otherwise, it can go lower. I mean, it can always go lower. Things can go out of business overnight. I mean, it's been a nice volatile move up. So that next extension looks pretty good. What does that look like on the fibs? Yeah. 166, 167, 50, 157. Anything above 157 is gravy on that one. All right, WNC. Let's see. Right up to resistance. I put a few lines on the chart and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I didn't even see that. Right up to resistance. It may retrace to the roadmap line since it didn't have strength to get through. It may come back, hold a higher low, and make another attempt. The resistance is actually right there. $32 and $35 on the upside if it got above that. All right. HLMN looks like a garbage chart. Hate to say. That's one of those squeeze things. You see it right there. And I'll draw it. Can easily drop down, back down to these lows. It can even get an extension. Like once it gets there, it can go way on down. Can it break out? Sure, it can break out, but that doesn't look too good right now. Looks pretty garbage. MSTR. Potential to break out. What'd you say? Bullish head and shoulders? Yeah. So the target on that one. I did that in crypto power plays. So look right here. It's kind of got this. There's a couple different ways you could do this one. I kind of like that one, and that would put this right up there to around 700, back near nothing, near the highs, I guess, where it consolidated. See, it made a lower high in November while Bitcoin was making a higher high. So it's got some resistance in that area. It may take a while to get there too. That could, I mean, if you went 3 times longer than that, December to April, it could take a year, which would be right into halving. Yeah, looks pretty good so far. Well, I mean, which semiconductor earnings you want to talk about? Like, I mean, AMD was the day it got slammed. Nvidia coming up right there on the 24th, later in the month. Looks like it wants to retrace too. What was the one this morning I was talking about? NXPI had pretty banging earnings. Got a target way up there if it can break up, but it retraced most of the move up. Probably getting hit a little bit on AMD being bearish. So it really depends on which one you're talking about. I mean, MU in that triangle, that one can break down. So, you know, semiconductors all over the place. SOXL, not looking overly bullish. SMH, also not looking overly bullish, although, I mean, it could retrace to the roadmap line and could bounce, and the target will be up here. So there's your semi. There was the 30-second semis. All right. Sorry, PD. I got your things. Hope you watched the replay. ABBV. Yeah. I've been going longer than 30 minutes now. ABB right back to the roadmap line. Holding a higher low. Barely. Not exactly super bullish. There's the targets on the up and the down. So downside 1 in 28. Upside 190. That's a big range. Does it pop out? Does it break down? I don't know. FHN, probably going lower. First Horizon. Oh, that's a Knoxville bank. I was like, I know this name. And this used to be called First Tennessee Bank. Now it's First Horizon. Looks like it's going lower. This was a Knoxville bank. Probably going to get down to 12. Pew, would be my guess. Now it can hold and bounce. This actually should be down here. They can hold in this zone right here and bounce. And probably find resistance right in there. Where this comes over like that. All right. PR. That can bounce. It could bounce potentially. Found resistance. Would expect some resistance right there. OSTK going in the garbage. SLV, I kind of already did that. It's 35. I mean, it's 30, 35. Immediate term targets 25, and then extension targets are on up there like 27 and 31 and yeah. So short term target here, longer term target right in this area, and then above that, right up here, like so. All right. Quitting time, past quitting time. You know me, I can't help it, but try to help everybody I possibly can. Get paid nothing for this unless you watch the ads. So right there, probably gonna come down to that level. Could bounce off the roadmap line, but looks like it wants to extend. Could extend down to here or here. Third arrow. There we go. Something like that. Find support. Looking for support. There's a it's like a shipping problem right now. Like nobody wants to ship anything. Nobody has anything to ship. So there's a shortage of stuff to get paid to move. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming, everybody. Make sure you're subscribed. I mean, if you're chatting with me, you're subscribed. If you weren't chatting with me, hit the subscribe button. Now, I have another Go Live event coming up at 8 p.m. It is on Zoom, so if you want to come check that out, right here in the chat is the link. Come check it out with me, 8 p.m. Going live. And I'll see everybody later. So, bye for now. See you tomorrow morning. Make sure you hit the bell with the notifications, and going live on YouTube tomorrow morning about 9:10, 9:15, something like that. YouTube only lets me schedule on the 15 minutes, so usually I try to hit it 9:15, 9:10, but you know, it'll be scheduled for 9:15. So come see us in the morning. We'll see what's moving. Bye for now, everybody. See ya.